office today. It's quite loud outside this morning. It's festival season and people are already karaokeing even though it's 8 a.m. And I think there's a band playing in the square, which is a few blocks away. Always lots of drums. The high school drumming band is always out in the mornings during festivals, so there's a lot going on here. Anyway, I made a video the other day about my first relationship in the Philippines and how that went, and if you want to watch that, I'll link it to this. So this video is a continuation of that. So if you watch that video, my first relationship ended badly, obviously, by my girlfriend telling me she was pregnant from another man during COVID when I was here. I couldn't go back to the Philippines. And if you guys know my story, I live in Colorado and I'm a ranger. I live in my RV for convenience for one, and saves me a lot of money in rent. I originally did it for my dog. I got tired of renting places and getting the runaround from landlords about security deposits and extra $500 to $1,000 to have a 100-pound dog, and just the lack of available spaces that you could have that size dog in. But anyway, I won't make this one too long. So after my relationship ended with her, it was 2021. We were early 2021 because it was around January 6th. That's how I remember it. But it was early 2021. We were still being isolated. I was living in my RV. If you knew where I live in the mountains of Colorado, where I am a ranger in the backcountry, basically. So it's quite isolating. Most of the time it's great. I'm an outdoorsman. I could do whatever I want out there. I mean, within the boundaries of the federal guidelines, of course, because I'm a ranger, that's what I enforce. But whitewater kayaking is a big passion of mine. I'm going to get into that in some videos down the road here. Fishing, boating, mountain biking. I bought an e-bike that year for running shuttles on the rivers and just playing around back in the mountains, and I had a ton of fun with that. But companionship wasn't abundant at the time. I couldn't even be around any of my co-workers, some of my good friends, but the federal government, as most of you know, is very strict about being in the same truck. We couldn't go into the office. I was doing all my work. I have Wi-Fi in my RV, so I was doing all my work from home, all my office work, and I was lucky. I was an essential worker, so I just kept working throughout, but I was working by myself. So anyway, this happened, and I was done with Filipinas at the time. But because of the pandemic and the loneliness and everything, I went ahead and got on a website that wasn't just Filipinas, but I did meet another Filipina. And this is kind of embarrassing for me to talk about because I guess, you could say she was a scammer, but I started talking to her and I really liked her online. She was smart. She had a college degree. She was a teacher like me in my past life, but she had lost her job because of the pandemic as well there. And I started talking to her for a while. We started talking every night, and after like a month, the inevitable question came where she asked me for some money to help her out, to buy a laptop so she could teach online. And like a dummy, I did. It wasn't a lot of money. You get used laptops cheap in the Philippines, so about maybe $100 or something like that. But then she had like 3 different dogs, and one of her dogs kept getting sick, and she kept asking me for $30 here and $20 here for her dog going to the vet. And she would send me pictures of the dog at the vet and everything. It was a puppy she got. She already had another dog. I don't know why she got a puppy, but And then I helped her out with her mom's diabetes. So this went on for quite a while. And after a while, I noticed, she was asking me for money, but she wasn't necessarily receptive to um, to me. I mean, she was to me, but she wasn't acting like somebody who, we were having a relationship, even though we had never met in person, only online. So about a year of this going on, um, I finally had enough, and the following year, I drove down to Mexico and I talked to her a little bit, and I didn't send her any money or anything like that. And Mexico, so this is 21, 22, my furlough in the winter. Mexico started getting hot in the winter as far as like where I was down there in the Veracruz area trying to do some kayaking. It was winter up here. And I mean, I had a good time. I found great Airbnbs to stay at. But driving around down there in my car with some kayaks on the roof, just the cartels were going nuts in that part of the country. They were pulling over vehicles at night and robbing them, like buses and stuff like that. There was checkpoints everywhere, so I figured it was time to get out and head back to the U.S. But I still had 3 months left on my furlough. It was early January, so I looked on the internet and I said, where can I go? What country will let me in? And I had already been to Africa before, Uganda, so I saw Kenya was open, no special requirements, just a test, a COVID test 72 hours before you land. So I was like, great, that's what I'm gonna do. I bought a ticket to Kenya, I drove home to Colorado, dropped off my car with some friends, headed to the airport in Denver, went to Kenya, and this Filipina was still trying to call me. Um, of course, I think she needed money. But anyway, after a year, I was maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's not that bad. I hear a lot worse horror stories, but maybe $500, $800 deep in with her, And so when I got to Kenya, it was all new. I was in Nairobi, kind of a crazy big city, and I decided I was going to stop talking to this girl. I actually met a Kenyan girl that I started dating for a little while. I could get into that later, but that wasn't a great relationship either. She had a kid. I don't dating girls with kids is, well, I could get into it, but it has its own set of problems. So anyway, um, all that, the girl's name was Lee, the Filipina. I stopped talking to her and I told her that, our relationship really wasn't going anywhere. I just wanted to end it. And I did, in the way that I was sending her money, it was through the same Remitly app. It's an app where you could send money to foreign countries. And the way I do it here to myself last year was I would just remit money to myself, and you could go to any place in the country. They have the Palawan, the MH Hooter, I think it's called, and the Cebuano. They're all places. There's one of those each in every little town in the Philippines, and you could go to them, show them your passport, remit yourself a certain amount of pesos. I would do $500 at a time, 25,000 pesos, because it costs $4.99 every time you transfer the money. But that's it, right from your bank to there, $4.99. It's one of the better ways to get money here. And I'm going to make a video about finances too eventually, and how to get money in the Philippines and all that stuff. But I know, and Remitly was how I was sending her $20, $30, whatever she would ask me for throughout that year. I was seeing her online. But just this year, I noticed that she had made a request for me to send her money on Remitly, because someone could do that if you had sent them money in the past. They could request money from you. And offhandedly, by accident, I almost sent the money thinking, you know, it was to myself or my girlfriend, because you do it on your phone. It's pretty easy to send money by accident. That's something you have to be careful of because it's pretty instantaneous. Um, but I noticed that she had made a request and I hadn't spoken to her for a year. And that solidified that she was, to me anyway, that I don't know if she liked me at first or anything, but she was just trying to get as much money out of me as she can. But like I said, now I'm with my current girlfriend and I've been with her a year and I met her in person. I didn't, there was no way I was going to have another online relationship, even though that one was, unique because of COVID. It was like impossible to travel. I wasn't meeting anybody, so I got myself into kind of a bad situation there. Not too bad, but it cost me $500-800, something like that, in the end with her. Um, so I blocked her from all my apps and stuff after that, and my girlfriend here even saw it, and she was like, "Who's this?" Filipinos are incredibly jealous. So I had to explain it to her, everything that went down. But now, actually, how I get money in the Philippines is I opened a bank account here in my girlfriend's name, and for $1.99, I could send as much money into that bank account as I want at a time. And I have the debit card, and I totally trust my girlfriend anyway. She asked me, even if she wants $20 out of my wallet to buy something, she asks me for it, and she won't go in my wallet and get it. She says, "Go get it out of your wallet. I don't want to go in your wallet. That's your wallet, not mine." So yeah, there's another, I guess, horror story about dating a Filipina. But even with those horror stories, I still prevailed, met a good Filipina girl, and you can too. So take this as a warning, not as a warning never to come here or date a Filipina, just as a warning to be aware of this is what can happen to you. Okay, everybody. Merry Christmas. Take care.